In this video, we're going to take a look at playing a stroke play tournament. As you can see here, we're ready to play the ATT Pebble Beach Pro-Am in the 2025 season. So we'll click on Play the Tournament. At this point, you can set up the tournament conditions of wind speed, green hardness, and green speed. These are settings that are unique to MS Links for the challenge settings there. With the wind speed, you have those choices there. And you set this. I'll go ahead and set it for all 4 rounds or how many rounds the tournament has. Next, then we got to set the tournament field. Now, the tournament field is very complex in how it determines who plays when you have what we'll call a random selection weekly tournament. If the tournament is a type of tournament such as a major or WGR tournament where only the top players in the world would be competing, then it's based on then the top whatever WGR rankings, and only those players will get to be entered in a tournament. So if your WGR is not up to speed by that point, you will not be able to play in that tournament. But this tournament is what we'll call a weekly tournament with a random selection of players. Now, a little bit behind the scenes on how these players are determined. Uh, each tournament has a purse, and so we look at the tournament purse over the total amount of purse to be distributed for the whole season. And where does this tournament's purse compare to the others? Is it, one of the higher purses? Is it one of the lower purses? And based upon that, then we'll take the world golf ranking and the golfer that kind of equates to that. So as to be the most likely to play. So if it's a more expensive tournament, then your higher WGR players are going to tend to be more likely to play in it, and your lower ones would not. If it's a cheaper tournament, then your lower WGR players will be most likely to play in it as opposed to the upper ones. So it makes the assumption that the higher the WGR players, they're going to only play in the better, most prestigious tournaments, the more expensive tournaments. The person who's most likely to play, when it correlates to that person, it gives about them a 95% chance of playing in the tournament. They still may not. And then the selection goes above them and below them by WGR, a little bit less percentage of a chance to determine if they're going to play. They may play, they may not, but they have a pretty good chance. And the further you get away from that most, we'll call it the high confidence player, the less chance that they'll play. Now, in a weekly tournament, you as a player, you have a choice. You might get, depending on your WGR, you might get selected, you may not. In this case, my WGR was good enough to where that I was entered to play. So I could play if I want to, or I can elect to take the week off. If I click yes, I'm going to take the week off, then the tournament's going to go ahead without me in the field. It'll reset the field. But if I do want to play, then it'll go ahead and include me. And that's what we're going to do here so you can see the scores, that how I entered them for myself. Now, if this were to say that I'm not entered for the week because my WGR perhaps wasn't good enough, or that didn't make it in a random there, uh, then it'll ask me if I want to use one of my sponsors exemptions, which you set up earlier when you establish the tour, and you can elect to use one of your sponsors exemptions to get into the field. So we're going to go ahead and say I want to play, so I do not want to take the week off. And that way you can see how it works when I enter scores for myself. So I am there to play, but now we got to set the round conditions. We're only playing round one. So these conditions, which come from, again, MS Links and the old GBVC, you can set the game difficulty, the game balance, the percentage chances of over or under a stroke on a hole, and the conditions. And each individual hole can have a normal, easy, or a hard condition set. And this is, you can change this for each round. The wind speed, the green hardness, and the green speed, they'll remain consistent throughout the whole tournament. So I'm just going to leave this as is for now, so we can go ahead and play the round. You are scheduled to play for this week. You can see at any point you can cancel and start the round over. So this is your scorecard. Tells you where you're playing, the round one, the pars. I do have the option of withdrawing at any point from the tournament. I can get into the middle of this and decide to withdraw, or I can withdraw from the beginning of the round. But we're going to go ahead and enter my scores. Now, the AI, the max strokes they will get on any given hole is a triple bogey. But here, you're not limited to that. You can enter as high a score as you want. So let's just go enter in some scores here. Let's say I made 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. Let's say I ace this one so you can see a hole in one. 4, 4, 4. It's going to verify your score, so make sure you didn't put anything bogus in here, or maybe you made a mistake and put 44 instead of 4. So it's going to verify I shot 65, and now I'm going to submit my score. And it'll go ahead and calculate all the golfers' scores as well. And it takes just a moment here. And then the round is complete. I can either view round one or I can view the leaderboard. We're going to view the leaderboard in this case. I've made my name as Mike Jones. You can see I had an ace on 15 and so did Paul Lawrie. It also computes all the stats for the round, and these will be accumulated throughout the whole tournament. If we go look at round one, you will see that Paul Lawrie, these are in alphabetical order by last name. There's the one right there for me on Mike Jones. There's the one for Paul Lawrie. So if we come back here, we'll go to the tour screen. And we're ready to play round two. You can view the leaderboard, go to the hole by hole leaderboard, which there's another video on that. Again, also restarting the tournament or tour reports or cancel the whole season. You can do that at this point. We're going to play the round, okay? Go back straight to the round settings because we know the field's already set in there. The round conditions are already set. So let's go ahead and we'll just play the round. So let's go through 4, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. I'll just say. And I had 75, not so good. Now let's see what happens. Give it just a moment to go through all the AI golfers calculations. And if I made the cut, it'll tell me. If I missed the cut, it'll tell me. It also will tell you at random if a AI golfer has withdrawn or was DQ'd. That will happen as random as well. So in this case, Nick Faldo withdrew. And the withdrawing, it looks at their previous round scores and compared in comparison to the leader, how far back they are, and then what they shot this round, and whether they're so far gone that they might, within a percent chance, decide to withdraw. So in this case, Nick Faldo withdrew. Congratulations, I made the cut. And let's take a look at the leaderboard. And I fell back because I shot 75, but we go through here like that. And if you scroll on down, we will see everybody who missed the cut. And we should see, there it is, that Nick Faldo shot 77 the first round. He was probably having a bad second round in comparison to what the leaders were doing, and it chose him to withdraw from the tournament. So let's go on and look at round three. You can play the round, set the round settings again. Now remember, like I said, I can withdraw at any point. Let's say instead of going through everything here, let's just say I decided to withdraw at this point. Okay, are you sure you want to withdraw from the tournament? I can change it back. Maybe I hit that by accident. I can come back and enter. But let's say I decide to withdraw, so we can make this faster. So I withdraw, it goes through and calculates all of the player scores and views the leaderboard. And it goes on from that. And you should see that I withdrew after the second round. There we go, my two scores, and I withdrew. And so let's go back and play our final round. Play the round, set the round conditions, and it goes off and calculates the player's scores. Now, the odds or the chances of a player withdrawing from any given tournament, if it's a WGR tournament or a playoff or a major, I set the percentage chances lower because people tend to probably not withdraw from those tournaments no matter how bad they're shooting. The chances will be more likely in a weekly tournament that they might withdraw or DQ. But in majors and WGRs and playoffs, the chances are there, but slightly. And also players' chances of withdrawing and being DQ'd are less after they make the cut as opposed to before they made the cut in the early rounds. So we played our 4 rounds and we see Kent Jones is the winner, gives us our stroke average for each round overall and what the total number of strokes, how many eagles. See there are 2 holes in one. So there was 1 eagle on a par 4 and 4,844 pars also total between the par 3, 4, and 5. And so from here, then you can create the tournament record. Now this takes a little bit to run this, probably about a minute or so, because it's going to update all the world golf rankings and the FedEx Cup point standings and do player stats and tournament stats and a whole lot of stuff. So it takes about a minute or so to complete the round at this point. And once it's done here, you can go back to the tour screen and it'll be ready to play the next tournament. You can exit out at that point, whichever you want to do. So I'm not going to let this run all the way through the video. You'll see when you play it that it'll just come up with a button here to take you option to go back to the tour screen or just to exit, which will just bring you back to viewing the leaderboard here. So that's about it for playing a stroke play tournament.